building. High priestess in the building, didn't let my fears kill me. Transmuting my pain in that cleanse in the rain. Down out, I was worth it and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became.
You touched such a valid point that it incorporates into your spiritual journey. We tend to carry excess weight because we're protecting ourselves.
Yes.
We're hiding trauma. Mm-hmm. And every time we take a layer off, we have to deal with that.
Yep.
So it's not like, that's why you have these people that go on the keto diet and lose 50 pounds. And then 2 months later, they have all that weight back on it. And it's because they have not dealt with any of this shit. Yeah, they haven't healed. And so it's not an easy fix. It's not, you of course have to look into the medical part of it first.
Right.
But then the spiritual component is very important. And I'm so glad you touched on that, because a lot of women, especially on TikTok, you got so many men that have these so-called new age spiritual men that are coming in and telling a woman that, she's not supposed to be plump, or she's not supposed to be, carrying this weight on her, because if she was connected to her spirits, that she wouldn't. And that's coming from a very unhealed perspective.
Yeah.
So we also have to be careful of the people we attach ourselves to.
Right.
Because this person can't look at you and tell you what your trauma is.
Right.
They can't.
Everybody's trauma is different too. That's why you see some spiritual people are not heavy. Their traumas are different. They're held differently.
Absolutely.
And that's one of my biggest things is I call myself this living proof to people of trauma. When I gained all my weight was after I had my second daughter. I had lost my first daughter when I was a teenager. And then about a year or two, I had my second daughter. And there was a lot of PTSD when I had my second daughter, although I didn't know that at the time. Very traumatic experience. So I gained all this weight because one, I was automatically like getting ready to lose everything again because I had lost everything before, but you go through all these years and then I would go to the doctor and the doctor would be like, oh, you're good. Your labs are good. Everything's good. And I mean, year after year after year after year. And it's like, no one can help me. There's nothing that's telling people what, and I would drop it all, get it back, drop it all. And then finally, I had this one GYN that gave me a PCOS diagnosis. And I was like, okay, all right, I got PCOS, right? Okay, I got something. Then I start reading into it and I'm like, this is like a phantom fucking disease. Like, what is this? It's a syndrome. They called it a syndrome. So I just have this and it's going to be here forever and there's nothing I can do about it. When I started going to the spiritual path, I noticed the layers of the trauma in the womb, right? That womb trauma and how deep that goes, not just from myself, my mom, my grandmother, my great grandmother, down all of those lines of trauma through all those women, and then being held within me. And then on top of my own trauma there. So I was like, oh shit, this is not just that, oh, I'm just stuck in this meat suit. This is now I got to go through the layers of all of this hurt, all of this pain, and get to that point where I can truly let it go. Because I look at people, I was like, no, I wasn't the fat kid. But I agree with you on someone looking at you and thinking that, oh, you're not in tuned because you're not that in tune because you're not skinny. And it's like, what is skinny? What is healthy?
I was trying to kind of mute you down because my son was in the background, but you really hit on it. Skinny doesn't mean that you're healthy. And I think when people try to shame people or judge them on their journey and tell them what that journey is supposed to look like, they're doing a disservice to you.
Right.
We come from trauma. And like you say, it's not just your trauma. You're carrying trauma that has not been healed through generations. And people, they want that quick fix, like get over it. It's not that easy to get over. When a woman is going through a domestic violence situation, we see only a small snippet of what she's dealing with, but we don't know what her mother dealt with. We don't know what her grandmother dealt with or how far back that goes. So the layers have to be peeled. And I think on the spiritual journey, when they say do shadow work and all that stuff, and people are like, oh, no, I don't want to, it's necessary.
Right.
It's a part of you becoming authentic, which means that you have to accept the dysfunction and you have to start working on it.
Woo.
You have to. You have to. I had a lot of dysfunction with my mom. Um, and I think it's because of the way that she looks at life. Of course, we look at things differently.
Right.
But when I first told her about my journey in the Voodoo, she was like, okay, I don't even understand. Like, why would you want to do something like that? Like, it was so far out of her concept that I would even want to walk a spiritual path, because she never has wanted to. So it was like, why would you do that? And then there was a turn in our relationship or our healing where we were looking, I had just come back from Haiti my first time, and we were looking at some African movie, and I was in her kitchen, and she called me in the living room, come here. And I'm like, okay, what? And she was showing me the TV, and she goes, the woman with the shaking thing, she's the priestess of the village, the African village. And they called her a Mambo. And she looked at me and she goes, that's what you are. You're a Mambo. You're the healer. And I said, yes. Yes. Now, I have been trying to explain this to this woman a whole year. And she thought I was losing my mind. She thought I was going to Haiti to I don't know, join a cult or something. And she had to see it.
Right.
What it did was it opened a dialogue so that we could start healing misconceptions about our family, family lineage, because as far as I know, I'm the only Mambo in the family. I don't feel like I am the only one, because I wouldn't have been called to this journey if I had been the only one.
Right.
But somewhere that was erased. So now my thing is, let's start peeling back the layers so that I can find her, so that I can get back to that energy. And hopefully I will in this lifetime. If not, maybe my daughter will continue, the journey. But it would be her decision.
Right.
Because I have no, I'm not attached to her being a Mambo or not. It's it's not an easy life. And I don't think I would want to put that on her. But if spirit calls her and she decides to answer the call, then I would 100% be proud if that was her calling.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's cool that she got it though. She had to like the visual.
She in that Mambo in that movie was outrageous, y'all. She was outrageous. I mean, flying through the air and everything. And I was looking at my mom like, no.
You're like, I don't know about all that.
There's some similarity. She's a healer. And I'm like, I hope you got that, because I think her initial concern was like, I'm going to come back and start fucking people up because of Hollywood stigma.
Right. I think the same thing with any, especially ritual based, or when you look at the practices, right? I think it's the same thing as money. It's not that money is the root to all evil, and it's not that these practices are evil. It's the persons inside. So it enhances who you are. If you're a fucked up person, yeah, you're gonna be using this shit to do some, shit. And we know people. I've heard a lot. People come to me after they've been scammed from people and taken advantage and been paying people for fucking months and shit and thousands of dollars out the fucking window, right? We've heard these stories, but I feel like that's their heart space. That's their heart space. It's not what you're actually practicing. I think that's within you. If you're going to be a shitty person, you're going to be it regardless.
Absolutely. You can't change character with people. You can't. People, we can fake things and we can put things out, and social media has created a platform where you can be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
I can completely switch and be something different next week and have people follow me because they still remember my energy from whatever I was before. But I think, unfortunately, spirituality right now is a $1 billion business.
Oh yeah. When I think it's up to like 2 billion right now, probably more. Probably
when you
more.
put a price tag on it, you're gonna bring in a lot of people who see a quick way to get money, and it's very easy to take advantage of people who are desperate, who tend to come in
Right.
This is their journey. I'm trying to find myself. So can you please help me? And they're like, yeah, $20,000, and I can show you who
Mhm.
you are, or my
Right.
husband is leaving me for another woman, and I don't want to lose my husband. And they're like, yeah,
Right.
$5,000, and I can bring
Mm.
your husband back. I mean, even on my page, I have these, scammers that come on. I can cure, herpes,
Things and
you
stuff.
know, and I'm like, whoa, come on.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those that like to come on my page. They like to leave reviews. I'm like, why are you leaving a review about your doctor,
Yes,
whatever the hell?
Doctor, whoever he is, he can cure every goddamn thing in the universe.
One was like, one said he could actually like grow the length of a penis or something. I was like, really? How do you do that with your spell work?
girl, if that was true, half these men on TikTok would have one.
I tell people all the time, it's like, can you do this? One, I was when I came into anything ritual and started doing stuff, I always tell people I was never going to do anything that was harming or hurting anyone. I'm not into doing force, trying to do force, and I'm not answering to your
Yeah,
shit. And I like to try to coach people who get in my inbox about my man's leaving me, that kind of thing. Cause I'm like, I'm not going to do it for you. So you can go
yeah,
find somebody else. Cause I'm like, why would you want to make him stay? You think you're going to get this Prince Charming once this person does his spell work. But what you're really going to get is this man trapped and can't leave you. And guess what? Potentially could happen. That's where the anger comes in. He could start beating
yes.
you, abusing you. You're not going to get the nice, loving Prince Charming that you think you're going to get because mentally he's fucking trapped.
Thank
He
you.
knows he doesn't want to be there, but for some reason he
He
can't
has
leave you
to.
alone.
He has to. Thank you for saying that. And I think that is probably the number one thing that goes wrong in love work, because there's always
Yes.
a binding
Yes.
to that. I'm like you. I've seen it, and I think it breeds domestic violence
It
that can
does.
be just horrible. And I'm gonna share a real quick story, because when I first started reading publicly, I was practicing in a group or whatever, and I met this woman, and she asked me for a reading, and I did the reading, and the reading showed that the guy was abusive, and it was going to get worse. And so I
Mm.
told her, I said, okay, so you need to make a plan, because I feel like things are going to get really bad. And I said, can you go somewhere? And she was like, yeah, but I'm not ready to go yet. And the cards, everything in me, even not looking at the cards, were like, run, like now.
Yeah.
And I said, Spirit told me, they said that she's going to talk to him about this. And so I begged her before I got off the phone. I said, please, even if you decide to stay, don't tell him anything about our conversation. She called me that night. She FaceTimed me from a freaking hospital bed. This man
Wow.
had took a brick and beat her upside the head and the face. And I was like, what happened? And she goes, I told him about the conversation we had about you telling me how he was going to hurt me worse or whatever. And she goes, I just thought that it was going to make him stop. And I was like,
Mm.
Spirit and everybody told you. But
Right.
then after she got out, she went and did binding work with somebody, and she had bruises still all over her face. And it was like, why would this worker take this money after they had seen what this man did to you over a
Right.
conversation? And
Right.
eventually he ended up breaking a leg, her arm. I mean, it got bad because he felt trapped. He felt
Right.
trapped. And
Right.
you can't sometimes explain it to women who are not getting beaten on yet. They don't understand it. But
Right.
eventually, like you said, when you make
Right.
somebody feel like a caged animal, they act
Right.
like a caged
Right.
animal. You
Well,
have to
even
be,
if they don't beat him, if you think he's going to be faithful, that's not going
oh
to
yeah.
happen.
There's
It's
there you can't force anybody's energy. Love
no.
work to me is unnecessary. And I think there is this lady on TikTok, and I don't know a whole lot about her, but she calls herself the Voodoo Bay. Beautiful woman. I know she's on IG too. And she put a TikTok, and she said she doesn't do love work to make a man
I
come to
think I
her.
know
She
who
said,
you're
my
talking about.
goddess energy
Right.
brings this
Right.
person to me. My
Right.
my essence brings this person
Right.
to me. My whatever it is that I'm putting out is making this person fall in love with me. So I don't like candles. I don't have to do all that shit because all of
Right.
this is doing that shit. And I do agree with that. I
I
think
do
when you're
too.
working in your vibration and your frequency changes, you start to glow. You start to
Right.
look differently.
Right.
Now, a cheater is a cheater, male or female.
Right.
They can stay with you
Right.
forever and a day, but if they want to go look for new booty, they're gonna go look for new booty. Haley
Right.
Berry is one of the most beautiful women in the world. She's constantly gotten cheated on with every fucking relationship she's been in.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't, beauty and being perfect doesn't make a person
Uh-uh.
stay and be faithful. But
Mm-mm.
if that's what you want, you can
Mm-mm.
bind that to you and stay with that shit the rest of your life.
No, I think that's far as your morals go to have to who takes money from someone, right? That's like in that state, right? This girl who's been beaten, and I'm pretty sure she told the story,
Oh,
of
sure.
and you still were like, "Oh yeah, sure, I can bind this person to you for more
Because
time."
they don't care.
Like,
There's
what
there
the
are there
hell?
are workers out there that have no conscience. If the money is right, they're gonna do the work. They don't care if you
Mhm.
die because they're already paid money up front.
That's
There's no
yeah,
payment plan.
it's sad.
Yeah,
I always tell people who ask me about that, I go, I can't do nothing to make this person do anything, but what I can do for you is how about you work on your communication together? How
yeah,
about you work on what's maybe healing? Maybe open up some dialogue. Communication is key.
absolutely,
Maybe work on that first. Let's see.
absolutely.
This person does he want to talk to you? Because some people be like, "Oh, I'm blocked." Wait, you're blocked? What am I supposed to do for you? You're
Yeah.
blocked for a reason.
But and what I normally do, and I get a lot of people that they don't want to do this, but I divine on everything before I do work. I
Yeah,
need to
me too.
know where I stand. I need to know if
Right.
you're being honest with me because people do lie. People don't
Oh,
tell you
yes.
everything. And then I have to know if my spirits want
Right.
to accept this work. So,
Right.
what I typically do for people is the first thing that you will get is a divination. And people are like, I
Right.
don't want to pay for that. I don't want to have to talk to you. Well, then we don't do the work
Yeah,
because
there's
I don't
no
go in
yeah.
blind.
Me
Then the
too.
next
There's,
thing,
like, no option. There's not a if there it
yeah,
goes together.
I
And
need to
so,
see. I need to
woo,
see.
the
And
team
then
has
my
been
next,
like, "No, I can't help you. You can't help them. You can't get involved." And I will let them know, like, "I'm sorry. There's
yeah,
nothing I can do for you.
you have
I
every
can
right.
refer you out to somebody else maybe." I think
Here's
a
the
lot of people don't do that though. I think there's a lot of
They don't
people
care
who
to.
don't work in that way. They don't even look to see is this person. And that's how I have found out that people are lying. This person's blocked. This is not even your man, stuff
Oh,
like that. And it's
girl.
like one thing I ask everyone is you need to be honest with me. If I'm the one person you're fucking honest with, you need to be because my team is not going to allow you to just sit and say the bullshit because we're going to look into it before we
They
continue.
want to protect you. They don't want to put you
Right.
in any situation that's going to be detrimental to you. And that's why it's important,
Right.
And I think a lot of people that don't understand that they don't care about the dynamics of the work. They want what they want. And those type of people are going to go spend whatever amount of money and get scammed and taken advantage of because that
Right.
is something that they're fixed on and you let them go. You
Right.
let them go. Love work to me begins with self-love.
Mhm.
I'm completely in agreement with you. First, you
Right.
have to love yourself because the majority of women that are so bent out on love work typically
Right.
have low self-esteem.
Yep.
They
Yep.
it starts with you. This
Yep.
person has to be with me. I cannot let them go. They're everything to me.
Right.
No, you need to work on you.
Right.
It's not
Yep.
it's not even the person's problem because when you start working on the person, the female first, or
Mhm.
even the male, once they get clarity, they realize I don't even want to fuck with that person no more because
Right.
now I'm healed.
Right. You're like, "Wait a minute, you're actually beneath me. Why was I tripping on this person? Like, wait,
Yes.
what?" And
Yes.
that's why I think it's sad that a lot of people don't do more coaching. It's just like, let me take your money because it's like, no, you need to worry about you. I've had a lot of conversations with women. It's like you have no life, and I will tell them, you what are your hobbies? What do you do? Because
Yeah.
all you're worried about is what this man got going on, and your ass ain't got shit going on.
It's the truth. Well, men and kids. And I think it's because women are raised to put everything before them.
Right.
And so
Right.
it doesn't feel right if they're not
Mhm.
taking care or catering to someone. It doesn't feel right. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to cater to your partner or wanting to
Mhm.
cater to your kids. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of like you. And I found this out in therapy when I was going through my divorce. I had to do homework and she gave me this questionnaire and it was like, who is Tonya?
Right.
And the first thing I put on the paper was, I am a mom.
Right.
And the paper sat up there for a week
Right.
because I didn't know what else I was. So I went
Right.
into the thing and I only had one word. And she goes, so you're a mom? And I was like, yeah, I'm a mom. I take care of my kids. And she
Right.
goes, what do you do for fun? And I say, well, I take my kids to the park. You know,
Right.
we go to the movies or whatever.
Right.
And she goes, well, what about you? And that was my first understanding that I was really not doing myself justice.
Right.
How can you take care of other people when you can't even take care of you, or you don't even realize
Exactly.
what you need to be,
Right.
and it was one of those epiphanies. And I think that's where you're right, where you say that we do need to counsel people. You don't have to have a degree. As a worker, you're going to realize that
Right.
you are the friend, you are the therapist, you are the
You are.
nurturer to a point because there's boundaries.
Right.
But
Right.
you can't just say, give me $1,500 and I'll ship this work to you, or I'll do this work and that's it. Because we're dealing with people that are going through something.
Right.
And we can't just throw stuff at them and be like, okay, give me the money and here, take this and you're going to be okay. It doesn't work that way. That's not
Right.
even how spirit works.
Right. I've had a lot of people come and it's like, oh, I've been paying this person for months. And it's like, because you ask them for something, they're providing the service and they're paying you, they're charging you monthly for that service, because nothing is just handled like that. You didn't do anything to fix the situation.
Yeah.
Personally, you didn't do shit to fix the situation, right? You
Yeah.
didn't change nothing about yourself. You didn't have no conversations with this person. You're just relying on this ritual that this person is doing to make your situation better. So, of course, you're going to
Absolutely.
keep coming back and you're going to keep paying for the facade that everything is okay. But deep down, everything is not okay. And that
Absolutely.
self-love empowerment is, whoo, it's key. It's key, because I
Once you,
agree with her. Your essence is everything. You do not need a ritual. When you are sitting in your power and your confidence,
yes,
I don't give a shit what
100%.
you weigh. That confidence and that energy is going to attract. But when you're sitting
It's
in that, like,
absolutely true.
I'm ugly, I'm this, my worth is nothing. This is my person. No one else is gonna love me. No one else is gonna care
Yeah.
for me.
You're going to attract people that are looking for that energy. And there are men and women that are looking for broke down, beat down energy because it's easy
Right,
to control and manipulate. And
right,
it's because they're broken. They
right,
don't know how to deal with healed people. It
right,
makes them feel uncomfortable. So they go look for people who are unhealed. But we have to be honest with ourselves, even as women. If you keep picking up broken people, there's still something in you that needs to be fixed. People always talk about, you've been celibate. Well, I'm going on 5 years now. And, I get all this, you ain't lonely, your tingy ting ain't tingling and all that. My tingy ting is being well taken care of. But
I think they think celibate is like this,
yeah,
like you don't know self-love. And let me tell you, I feel like that is self-love, self-care.
it 100% self-love. And I love myself to death, but I'm not going to settle for
Exactly.
anything to
Exactly.
come into my life that does not make me happy. I
Right.
don't give a shit who it is, what it is, or whatever. If you're not coming in the way that I want you to come in right now, then you can stay away. And
Right.
that's my empowerment. And that's something I had to learn. This wasn't, I didn't just wake up one morning and have this. I had to
Right.
go through some shit. I
Right.
had to do some work. Like you say, we have to put in action. My first work with people, typically anything you get from me, you get a bath, a cut and clear, or something that's going to cleanse you first, because I need you to be clear. I
Right.
need your eyes to open up.
Right.
Once your eyes open up, then we start working together for the work. But you have to do your 50% too. It's not just about me ringing a bell and calling down spirit.
Right.
I need you to walk the walk. And if you don't want to walk the walk, I'm going to tell you, you're wasting your money. Don't send me your money if you're not going to do the work.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I don't want, I'm not going to say I don't need the money, but I don't need the money that way. I
Right.
don't need to play games with you. And I'm busy. My time is valuable. My spirits are valuable. So if you're not
Mhm.
coming in to get better, then you need to get the fuck on. Go
Right.
find whoever else is going to play. I won't do that with people. I mean, I think that's wrong. But we all come into this journey and we handle it differently. We're looking for different things. And, you know, we have such a big group of people that there's chaos sometimes with trying to find the connection that works for you.
Right. I was working and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became.